Hey guys, it's Steve, back for another carving video today. And today we're going to do something a little different again. I've got some cottonwood bark laying around the shop here, and I think it's time we mess around with it. So let's see what we can do. Okay, what we have going on here, we have this piece of cottonwood bark. I already took a little time and cleaned up the back side of it a little bit. And just looking at this shape here, it kind of made me think wood spirit. So that's what we're going to do today. There's kind of a break right here in the bark. I think I'm going to kind of start with that, clean it up down here, and this is where we'll put the face, and maybe we'll have the hair kind of coming up over here and then working into that. So first thing we're going to do is do a little cleanup. Just kind of shave some of this big flaky stuff off. And maybe we'll leave just a little bit down at the bottom. Bring it down to about right here. Kind of gives a natural shape for a long beard here. We don't have a very sophisticated way to hold this right now, so we're just going to struggle through it. We won't go too far around the edge up here yet till we decide what this is going to look like. See how we just kind of used that natural break in the bark there. Just a little more down here. Okay, let's take a look. I think we'll come around this edge just a little bit over here. This particular bark is from a huge cottonwood tree that was in front of my brother's house. And that had to be taken down. It was kind of endangering their house. And it was getting to be where it was kind of big branches on it. Branches on it were bigger than a lot of the trees around there are. And they had problems. Well, it was time, but I just picked up some of the bark from that. That's what this is from. Okay, now we're going to be using probably some smaller tools than what I'd like to for this, but we'll make it work. There, we'll just kind of okay, let's see what we got here. Get a pencil out. Like I said, we'll probably kind of have this bark coming down over the forehead, and we'll make this hair, a hair kind of coming up like that. So I think we want to put the brow line. That's not going to show up very good for you guys, is it? We'll have to. Okay, we're going to use a Sharpie so you can see. Going to put our brow line right in here. And bring a nose down something like this. It's pretty wide for the nose, but we'll narrow that down. Then we can do a kind of a mustache here, and the rest of this will be beard. So this isn't a very good spot here for this eye, but we'll kind of, once we get down in there, hopefully that will clean up a little bit. So this is kind of where we're starting from. Get use a little Helvie Rough Out Knife here. Kind of come down beside the nose here. If you guys have been watching my channel, you'll know that I end up doing most of my carving with a knife. I do need to, like I said, get a different set of gouges and probably use them a little bit more. Take the bridge of the nose back into that brow line. I have a crusty old piece of bark. I think we got a little ambitious with that nose. We're going to have to make that smaller. That's okay. We can do that. See if we can, there we go. Okay, let's take this eye socket back just a little bit more. Okay. Next, I want to kind of just make some round eye sockets here. Just try to get them even. Okay, and we'll just come around, angle a knife out. Trying to do this without blocking the camera. Kind of tricky on a piece like this when you don't have the right tools. Just work around here. One thing with cottonwood bark is it likes to kind of flake and break as you go. So unlike with basswood, you want to be kind of careful how deep of a cut you're making at each time here. Okay, we'll kind of do that. Same thing to this side. Like to get a little deeper out here on this edge. It's really kind of hard and crumbly, brittle here. kind of round this or smooth this mound out a little bit more over here. It's kind of uneven. Okay, that's kind of starting to come together a little bit. I really like carving this cottonwood bark. It's fun. Just kind of different from just it's it's a step away from the basswood, that's for sure. Okay. Take a little more off here. Just to kind of even that out. You know, obviously, the way this bark is here, it's not going to be a real clean eye, but that's okay. It's part of it. Okay, let's draw the eyes in here a little bit. Just making 2 dots. Trying to get them spaced right. Looks pretty good. We'll start there, and we're going to have to change it a little bit as we go, but I wanted to just get something started here. We're going to carefully, lightly cut in for these eyelids. This eye on this side especially, it's kind of, it's got that bark running up in there. A little bit tricky. Try to go a little deeper on this inside corner. We'll set those eyeballs back in there just a little bit more. It's almost like it's telling me we want to have this pupil right here. See how it's got that hole in the bark? We might use that and just kind of have him looking this way a little bit. Just making this outside corner a little deeper. Trying to get a little more of that curve in the eyeball. But it's touchy out here because it's kind of likes to break up even more than just the way bark does. Oh, I'm trying to say there. Okay. Okay, we'll do this other eye this far. Again, we don't want to go real deep. We want to make multiple passes on this bark. In the future, I'd like to be set up and do a little more of this kind of carving. Just trying to kind of blend in the outside edges of where I made these eye mounds. It's kind of have a harsh transition there, and I think it should be a little flatter. I'm just kind of reworking those a little bit. Okay, we get back to this eye. We need to come around here and get rid of our Sharpie marks. Okay, we're going to make a upper eyelid stand out a little bit. Hey guys, just taking a little break from the video here. Just kind of remind you that we have a website, huntersmake.com, and I have some Badger State Blades knives, some carving gear, some safety equipment, carving cut gloves, and some other products that I've shown on the channel. Feel free to go check that out. I'd appreciate it. It's a kind of a good way for you and I for getting a little support for the channel, supporting this hobby, and would appreciate it if you'd check that out. If there's something you need, pick it up. I do want to also mention that in the past on the website, some of our shipping didn't always have that all figured out, and sometimes it was a little bit high for shipping cost. We've made some changes, and now there's either a small fee for shipping or no fee for shipping. Most of the time I try to get it set to where shipping's just included. So just to simplify things, I know if I'm shopping online and I pick out some things and then I realize, oh, the shipping's going to cost almost as much as the product, I just don't buy it. So trying to help that out a little bit, just make it easier for everybody. Go check out huntersmake.com, and also one other thing is, as I prepare for these videos, I make several carvings, and my carving shelf is starting to get full. So I've decided to take some of these carvings and offer those for sale as well on my website. So if there's a particular video, and I'm not going to have a lot of these, and they're when they're gone, they're gone. But if you are really interested in something I've carved, go check out the website, huntersmake.com, and find the section where I have these carvings. And you never know, you might be the lucky guy and grab the carving and have that to reference as you're trying to carve them. So, all right. And as always, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below and I'll get back to you. Thanks. Normally I'd go from one eye right over to the other. I want to work on this one a little bit more. This one over here is going to be a challenge because of the way that bark is. And I'm just running away from my problems. And on the, oh, broke it out. I was just going to say on the bottom, we're going to try to get that thinner. I think what we'll do is just kind of come in here right below it, just make some tiny little scoop cuts, kind of slicing just to indicate the bottom eyelid a little bit. We're not getting crazy there. Something like that. Looks pretty good. And clean that inside edge up a little bit. It looks a little ragged. Okay, let's see if we can get the eyelid over here on this side. Again, we'll just start by coming around here just lightly so we don't bust it all out, especially this area here. It's pretty rough. I'm really going to take my time. Just take out tiny little pieces here. Aren't going to be able to do a whole lot with this up here just because it's so rough. We need to get in there and smooth out the back side of that groove though. Okay, and we'll try the carefully do the bottom eyelid on this side. Ah, big chunk just came out. Trying to be so careful here. But really, I mean, the nature of this is it's got another big groove in here. It's rough bark, and we're trying to carve through that. So stuff like that happens. I don't know. It's just kind of how it is for where we're at. I think that looks pretty good though. Okay, now we need to remove quite a bit of this here so we can get down back by the where the mustache and beard's gonna, or mustache and lips are gonna be. So let's take the big gouge. Just take this back. Oh, I went up and nicked off his nose. Okay. We're gonna have to reshape his nose a little bit after that slip. That's all right, we have room to do it yet. Okay, I'm gonna get my number 5 here. We come at it this way with the gouge upside down and round this over a little bit again. Doesn't look too bad. I mean, it did get knocked down. I think we're okay yet. Okay, we'll smooth this out a little bit here. Okay, we left a little bit here and here for the cheeks. Let's see if we can put a mustache in here. And this side will just kind of blend into the edge. And same over here. Okay, let's get that pushed back in there. I'm going to start with my knife just to mark those out. Always angling away from the wood you're keeping. Okay, we'll go a little deeper on this side, down towards the bottom. Yep. Get rid of our Sharpie mark up here in the center. Okay. Now it's still pretty flat here, so we're going to have to dig in pretty hard back here, like below the cheeks. Kind of define that area a little bit better. And I don't like how... So let's see, this side probably needs to come up a little higher. And this side maybe down a little lower. And I need to put a bottom lip in here. Let's get the top of that mustache put in. I'll get rid of a little bit of this edge here. And of course, we'll get rid of the Sharpie lines. Make this a little deeper right here by the nose. We'll come back and pick his nose a little bit more later. Okay. Okay, I need to make this side over here. Looking pretty good. Okay, let's work on this bottom lip a little bit. Angled way away from it, and I'm just gonna take some, it's hard to do some scoop cuts in cottonwood bark because it just kind of crumbles, but that's what we're trying to do anyway. And to make the bottom of the bottom lip kind of a soft curve up into it. Turn it over and this side. I tuck the corners up a little tighter, going up into the mustache. I have just a very little bit of his top lip showing. Okay, now I'm just going to round the bottom lip, get rid of the Sharpie marks here. Okay, and then the last thing I want to do with the mouth here is try to round. I got a sharp edge on that top lip. I just want to round that off. I'm going to tuck it back in there. And little Sharpie marks hanging out here. Get rid of those. Actually, I think what I'm going to do, what I've been calling the top lip, I think I'm going to flatten that out a little bit more. And might turn that into a tooth or two here. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. If we just divide that. Yeah, that looks all right, I think. I think what we're going to do now is try to put in some hair detail up here. Maybe we'll cut this back a little bit. This is a pretty flat piece of bark, so the profile probably isn't quite right. Like the mouth and the under the nose probably should have come out a little bit more, but it's really a flat piece here. So kind of did what I had to do. Okay, let's cut this back in here a little bit. Again, this is kind of hard to do. I don't really have any way to hold it very well. We'll get a station set up someday for this kind of stuff, because I do enjoy carving these bigger gouges. We just got to get some and get set up to have a way to hold our workpiece and go to town. Then when we come home, we can go carving. Not sure why we went to town. Did we need something? Did we get some milk? I don't know. Try to keep up. Okay. Okay, I think I'm gonna not get too crazy up here because I kind of like the way this looks, but I want to define the edge of the head in a little bit here like this. So. Okay. Take the knife, we got a little more control over in this crustiness here. And we'll give them a little bit of an brow ridge here. Okay, we want to slope this back a little more here. Okay, I think we're ready for some hair detail. No, we got to pick his nose a little bit first. And then that one little boo-boo here, I nicked off the corner of his nose. Okay, let's get V-gouge here and see if we can come back to this eyelid just a little bit here. Get some crow's feet in there. It's hard to get much in there because they're so close to the edge. I think I might see if I can thin up this eyelid here with, but I'm afraid I'm going to break it because it's. Let's work on some hair. Let's take some curved lines up this way. It's pretty crusty up there. It's hard to get much for a consistent shape. See, it just flakes away. Shallow V cuts, getting gradually deeper. Maybe that'll work. It's just so crumbly right here. It's hard to get any detail in it. I cut one groove here really deep. Let's see if we can. See that? It's just barely stick my knife in there and it just kind of falls apart. So we might have to just be okay with what we got. And it's not bad. Let's see if we can make. We can tell his hair anyway. Okay, see if we can put some eyebrows in. Well, let's smooth this one out just a little bit here. Okay, let's make some beard here and mustache. See what we can do. Just try to go light at first. I think that's the mistake I made up there, is I was kind of too heavy and aggressive with it and it just all broke loose. That and just where it's at up there isn't the greatest spot, but down here is pretty decent. We're getting some good results. Flip it around and kind of some marks going up to around the top edge of the mustache. Another thing I want to do is we got to go back and cut in the iris and pupil because I'm not going to be painting this or anything, so we need to indicate that. Remember, I've said this before, but whenever you're doing hair, beards, and mustaches, you should never really have a straight line. It's kind of flowing, random curviness. Okay, flip this around and Just kind of have this side of the mustache just kind of disappear into the wood, into the outside crusty bark. It's looking pretty good. I'm gonna just do some beard hair down here. You can see this kind of wants to flow over that way, so we're going to try to do our beard lines curving that way. Oh. Now we don't want to go just exactly parallel with each other, because then that doesn't look right either. See if we can put a little deeper. Sometimes doing this kind of stuff, you got to know when to quit, and sometimes you got to push it a little bit farther after you think maybe you're not sure, because I think sometimes you put a feature in a carving and you're not happy with it. I think it's easy to get discouraged, but what you need to do is change your the way you look at that and just view it as, okay, well, that's the next step of what I have. What do I need to do now to make it better? That V tool for this mustache was fine, but when I got down here in the beard, it was just too big of an area and it just didn't look right. It wasn't sharp enough, or I should say the depth wasn't there, and if I pushed too far to get the depth, then I didn't like the angle. So what I'm doing is coming back and making some deeper cuts, but a lot steeper angle. So they're, well, this is just crumbling here, but you see what I did there? Just kind of, now this is kind of raised up too high. I think we're going to put another one right across here, like that. I think that's looking pretty good. And over here, it's kind of hard because it blends in. Right now, I'm just kind of looking for the spots that just don't look right. One more thing. I mentioned earlier, I want to work on the eyes a little bit more, put in iris and pupil. And because of this, Oh, we didn't do eyebrow hair either. We got to do that. But because this eye over here kind of has that round spot, we're going to start on that side and see what we can figure out. Use what the wood is telling us here. If we have that if we can make that the pupil, and it's kind of looking up and a little bit to this side. So we'll go with that. And I'm just going to very lightly, just enough that we'll be able to tell that there's a line here. Okay. And that ended up being a little deeper than I thought it should be. So I'm going to shave the front of the iris back. And maybe a little bit off of the eyeball out here. Okay. Now we'll do the same over here, but because this has that natural line, we're not going to do a lot on that side. We're just going to stay off to this side of it. And we're almost done. See how we just defined that side of this, and the natural part of the wood here does the rest for us. It's kind of, you got to kind of keep an eye out for stuff like that and use it when it's there. I think this is going to work out really nice for us. Get the pencil marks off of there. Okay. And then the last thing, we got, well, the two last things. One, we're going to do the pupil. This one, I think we're just going to, might just kind of make a little bit of a hole there. And we'll just do the same here. All right, let's put some eyebrow hair in it, and then we will be done with this guy. I was just going to wrap up the video here, and then I realized that I'm going to want to hang this on the wall. So let's make a spot to do that with. So I think it's going to hang fairly straight. We'll just come right up here towards the top. And just use a knife and we'll come across and go straight in. Make a couple passes on there so it's nice and deep. And then we'll just do a cut up to that, angle it down towards the bottom of the carving. And we'll do that a few more times. If anything, angle your knife so it's kind of going up. The thought is if somebody wants to hang this on a nail or something, that it can kind of go in this hole and be a sort of an angled hole that as it hangs on the nail, it wants to kind of pull it closer to the wall. There. Now I should be able to hang that up. Another thing I'll do is I'll soak this all up with super glue here just to make it a little tougher. Sometimes when I do these bark carvings, I like to put oil on them, just to kind of seal them up. They're so dried out and crumbly. I just kind of feel like that helps. Now, it does change the look of it quite a bit, but I kind of like it. So I'm just going to go ahead and brush oil on here just like I would any other carving. We'll start just by coating the carved part here. I'll go ahead and just coat the whole thing too. Not gonna focus too much on this outside part, but just doing this mainly because I like how it looks on the carved part, and there's spots where I brushed over onto the non-carved part and changes the color of that. So if you guys do some cottonwood bark carving, how do you finish them? Do you just leave them blank? After this, what I'm going to do is after this dries really well, then I'm going to spray it with my dead flat coating. I really think that's the best way to seal them up and protect, make them easier to clean in the future and everything. And especially something like this, it could kind of seal it up and make sure it doesn't leave little crumbs of bark every time somebody touches it. Looks pretty shiny right now, but once that all dries and I put the dead flat spray on it, it'll just have that nice rich color, but it will be dry and not shiny. All right, well, there you have it. There's my version of a cottonwood bark wood spirit using tools that probably aren't conventional for doing so, but we got it done nonetheless. All right, thanks for watching.